Check. How we doing? I have a bit of a sore throat, so I'm gonna try and speak a bit quieter. Normally the levels of this thing are pretty good anyway, so yeah, welcome to season 3, episode 8 of the Decompression Chamber. I'm your host, Mario. It's good to have you. And our opening quote is going to be from esteemed author and person C.S. Lewis. And the quote goes, "Isn't it funny how day by day nothing changes, but when you look back, everything's different?" Roll the intro.
One of the meat and my steamer is broke. Fuck the oblique turn peak of the soul. Peace never know what's about to occur, but my zen getting rolled at the turn of your words. One of the meat and my steamer is broke. Fuck the oblique turn peak of the soul. Peace never know what's about to occur, but my zen getting rolled at the some little words. Or margin hot stop and duck knock and rust stopping for cigarettes. In it says smoke, out it says no. Cloud of the
Yeah, I was having a conversation with somebody that I can't remember whether that quote kind of prompted what conversation I was having, or whether that conversation kind of made me go and look for that quote. But yeah, it's very true to life. I guess not much feels altogether too different from the last video that I recorded, and yet I know things are changing. I know I'm changing. But yeah, if I'm to do a little bit of a check-in with how I'm doing, I have a bit of a sore throat. The house is cold. It's getting into December, and you can feel that cold chill into your bones. You know, wearing 2 layers of tracksuits when I leave the house. Can't leave without a coat, kind of situation. And the sad part is it's only getting darker, and it's only getting colder. You know, the good part is that it's close to the Christmas holidays, and I'll be able to see my family in Spain. So, you know, just like anything, you got to appreciate what's good. You got to kind of not overlook, but try and deal with what's bad, I guess. And yeah, so I would say mentally I'm doing all right. You know, naturally there's stresses and anxiety caused by, you know, my daily life. But overall, I guess I have a pretty positive outlook, despite the fact that I'm feeling kind of shitty physically. I had to skip going to the gym today, which is a little bit disappointing because, you know, I got shit that I want to do. I got goals that I want to meet, and yeah, essentially you just have to do what you have with your current situation. And I guess something that I could get into is I bought a guitar. I have, you know, lots of friends who are musically talented, musically inspired, and there was just an occasion a few weeks back where a couple of friends were playing guitar at my house, and it was such a magical, such a genuinely inspirational experience watching them and experiencing the music they played, that I just kind of sat there and thought to myself, why don't I play guitar? Why don't I learn? You know, what's stopping me? Do I really want to get to like 40, 50 years of age and never having learned to properly play an instrument? And so yeah, this might this is my guitar. The guitar is called Solitaria, which I just thought was a cool name. But I got to give many thanks to my friend Alfie and my friend Maya for you know, showing me how to play a couple of things here and there. I literally bought it. So today is Thursday evening, and I bought it Monday. So I've only been learning a few days, but I have 2 very skilled and very patient, understanding teachers, and I'm getting better. You know, I've been practicing. I'm not sure whether I'm going to include the videos that I've filmed, because maybe I'll show them down the line, but I've just been practicing this one song that my friend Alfie's band Vision, who are on Spotify, check them out, and they're on YouTube, I believe. Yes, they are. Check them out. I just have this one song. It's got a few chords, and I'm trying to get better at learning it. But yeah, so that's been really fun. I've been kind of trying to improve my skills. I've been making these fingertips here numb, like they won't show on camera or anything, and you can, I guess, if you knew, you'd feel it. But if you didn't know, there's a sense of like feeling of numbness and kind of numbness, but also weird sensitivity at my fingertips right now. But that's been such a genuinely enlightening and empowering experience, buying a guitar and learning to play, even if it's, rudimentary, and I'm still a bit awkward at it. And it's even weird to call it my guitar, it's even weird to, I'm finding it difficult to find the right posture and position to play the guitar at. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'd be here steadily drinking my water because speaking is making my throat hurt, and nevertheless, I'm out here making a video because, yeah, much like that that quote at the start said, day by day we're changing. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Every day I write a list of things I'm grateful for, and one of those things that I always write is that every day is an opportunity to grow. Every day is an opportunity to reinvent. And every day is an opportunity to renew, to become something new. And I guess playing the guitar is one version of that for me. And sometimes it's small kind of personal victories or small personal losses that we have to overcome. Sometimes I wake up and it feels like not easy, but attacking the day and confronting the stuff that I need to confront, and approaching the things that I want to do, it feels feasible, it feels achievable, it feels doable and easy, like you just wake up and do it. It just kind of like I prepare the list of things that I want to do and I just tick them off as I do them, and it's not difficult. And yet sometimes I wake up and it feels like somebody's changed the difficulty of the game. Feels like somebody's put it on hard mode, and even the stuff that I would overlook and take for granted before suddenly feels more difficult. Motivating myself to get out of bed and shower and get into nice clothes, it feels difficult. Motivating myself to make myself a healthy breakfast rather than just having some sort of snacky thing that won't really sustain me. Motivating myself to kind of do something like this, or kind of tackle head on a lot of the stuff that I need to be doing but the stuff that I should be doing for my studies and for my kind of professional future. It's difficult. Sometimes there's days where it doesn't feel like I can do anything. And I guess I question myself whether what my response to those kind of days says about me. Because at the end of the day, it's easy to feel like, at least for me, it's easy for me to feel like I'm feeling myself if things are going well, because I'm happy, I can be more present in conversation, I can engage with people more, I'm less in my own head, I'm just kind of engaging with the world around me. And yeah, those difficult days feels like maybe, because I'm someone that experiences a lot of anxiety, maybe on those days I feel less present because I'm kind of stuck in my own head, and those anxious thoughts are kind of taking me somewhere else, or maybe they're making it harder to do the things that I want to do, or to make progress in the things I want to make progress in. But the reality is that it's easy to do things well when it's easy to do things well. It's much more difficult when things are difficult. That sounds so obvious, but I'm trying to make a larger point, I guess. I guess the point that I'm clumsily trying to make is the idea that how we respond to difficulty, how we respond to hard times is a big statement of our character. Or at least for me, I try and tell myself that, I tell myself that the improvements that you make when you're down, the kind of the ability to hold on to something positive, or the ability to make something positive out of what doesn't feel like there can be. There's some real value to that. There's some real difficulty, and there's some real kind of growth that happens in those moments. I probably mentioned on this podcast at some point or another before how my dad has often told me that he wants me to go through crisis, like serious, troubling, crippling crisis. And it sounds like a kind of wrong thing to say in a sense, because obviously every parent is going to have that protective kind of instinct towards their child. But I think what he means by that is that you can only really grow and learn things about yourself and develop as a person when you're really, really put to the test, when you're really, you know, when you go through experiences that make you question everything. The reality is I've lived a very privileged, sheltered, kind of blessed life. Like, I'm aware of that. It makes me feel like when I encounter things that, in the grand scheme of things, aren't that difficult, it feels like I find them a lot more difficult than perhaps others might. I would hesitate to point to really anything in my life that I would consider a major crisis. I guess I've had crises in confidence, maybe like lack of self-worth and self-esteem stuff. But like, at the end of the day, everybody has their own battle. Everybody has their own struggle. It's easy to look at other people's lives and compare. Oh, maybe they have it more difficult. Maybe they have it more easy. But at the end of the day, you can't really understand how someone. You can understand, but you can't really understand what someone else is going through unless you've been through it yourself. Everybody has such a unique experience, and you know, if you're drowning in 3 meters of water, if you're drowning in 10 meters of water, you're still drowning. That's not a great analogy, but you know what I'm trying to say. Pain is pain, and suffering is never easy for anyone. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, as always, I'm trying to stay grateful. I'm trying to take a positive attitude, even at the times where things feel like I can't take a positive attitude, even if there's something distracting me or something kind of playing on my mind, and yeah, that's just kind of the way things are going, I guess. Yeah, that tells you how I'm doing. But yeah, honestly, I'm just grateful for another day on this earth, even if it's a weird one, even if the only time I've been outside today was to go buy some snacks from Sainsbury's and put out the recycling. Ooh, I watched My Neighbor Totoro today. It was like one of the most blessed and beautiful experiences of my week. Snuggled up on the sofa with my housemate Sam, and on the other sofa Shana. We're just chilling, watching a very wholesome movie. Got my hot water bottle, and it was just peaceful. It was just nice. And the whole time I'm in my head, I'm like, oh man, my throat is killing me so bad. And it's easy for that to distract me, and yet, you know, I just have to be in the moment and enjoy the film. Whoa. I need to stop doing that. For context, the reason why that's happened twice now is that instead of using my tripod, I kind of found it easier to use my gimbal, and essentially I'm using a precarious balance situation to balance. But yeah, I guess I ran into this thing not really having much to talk about. I filmed one of these yesterday, and you know, sometimes you just watch it back. Sometimes I just think it back, and I go, I wasn't putting my best foot forward there. That wasn't the best representation of how I want to present myself. And I was speaking to somebody, you know, about these videos. I've spoken to a lot of people about these videos, about how the tone, I guess, I try to set, because the way I speak in these videos isn't the same way that I speak to people in my life. It's not the same way that I write when I write, you know, things that I write. It's not the same as when I, you know, might speak in front of people, like in a presentation. It's very different, and in the same way that I'm speaking to you, I'm also speaking to me. I'm literally, as I'm saying these words, I'm looking at an image of myself on my camera monitor. So it's kind of a bit of a weird experience, and the reason why I feel so free to speak the way I do is because you know, I'm in my space, I'm in my room, and it's just me and the camera, and there is an acknowledgement, there is a presence, knowing that you're watching, knowing that you're going to see this. But at the same rate, there's a liberating feeling, because if I decided that you're not going to watch this, that I don't want you to watch this, you won't. You know, I wouldn't say it's equal, but there's a lot of videos, there's a lot of these that I've recorded that I've said some shit that it was really helpful for me to say. It was really freeing for me to say, and yet I didn't want people to see it. You know, just like anything, we have kind of layers to us, don't we? And we have, there's that saying about the masks. There's some stuff that we reveal, and there's some stuff that we don't. And I guess that kind of turns to something that I would kind of often like to talk about on these, is that how we are around the people in our life is always kind of different, how I interact with my parents might be different to how I interact with my friends. How I interact with those two might be different to how I interact with my lecturers, or maybe acquaintances, or the person at the shops. Is overall we are like one being, and yet like oftentimes I feel like not like I'm fragmented as in my identity is fragmented, but the way I present myself is fragmented in a sense. I guess oftentimes I spend a lot of time concerned about how I'm coming across to other people. I worry a lot about what people think of me, and whether they like me, whether they value me, if they want me around, all of those kind of questions. And sometimes it's not as explicit as that in my head, but like I think back to the way I acted in a certain situation, or I question myself why I'm having certain emotional responses, and those are the questions that kind of lead to that, I guess. Yeah, good. My sound recorder is still recording, despite the wonky camera movement. But yeah, and oftentimes I question myself, what really is my true self? In which situation am I really being me? And I guess there's no simple answer to that. Just the fact that this is me being me is as much as I can. I try as much as possible to peel back the layers. But yeah, as I just said, there's some layers that I'm not willing to peel back. There's some stuff that I won't share in the way that perhaps I'd like to. And it doesn't make any other version, any other kind of presentation of myself less real. It's just different. And maybe if I fold that into the context of what I talked about last episode, about how every day is a new version of ourselves, maybe there's not like one true self that I need to be worried about holding myself to. Maybe there's no one. Maybe I just be, I just exist, and whatever image of me people have is the image they have, and I think our true selves, our true character shines through what we do, through the way we are, how we treat people, again, how we respond to difficult situations, how we try and better ourselves, because at the end of the day, I think there is a bigger version of us than just what you see now. There's a bigger version of us than the impressions other people have in our heads. There's a bigger version of us than our own impressions of ourselves. I'm speaking for myself. I'm speaking for a lot of people I know that got a lot of negative self-bias. That I know so many people in my lives that don't give themselves enough credit for how amazing they are. I know so many people who have talents that they'll downplay, or have qualities that they will overlook. Some people where it's just like they're so amazing, and they're so amazing to be around. They're such like joyous, like kind of positive people, and yet it feels like to me like they don't know it, or like they're not as aware of it as I'd like them to be. And then I always turn that back on myself. I'm like, maybe that's the case for me. Maybe there's, and I know it's the case for me. In fact, I know there's a lot of things about me that I overlook, that I don't give myself credit for. I think part of that is just the world we're in, and part of that, I guess, is just certain people being the way they are. No one wants to be like the egotist. No one wants to be the, everybody look at me, look how good I am at things, look at how I'm the best. And yet I do think there just needs to be some room for people to just be able to acknowledge what they're good at, acknowledge the way they are, and acknowledge some people just are fucking cool. Some people are cool. I'm speaking from a biased perspective, but like I genuinely think my mum is like one of the best people, like in the entire history of humanity. She's one of the best people, and I'm sure she doesn't agree with that. I'm sure she wouldn't like put her hand up and say, yeah, that's me. But that's just the way I feel. And that same principle applies to so many people in my life. And I guess something that I often find myself thinking is how much I value the people who I can feel vulnerable with and be vulnerable to, Just recently I was was experiencing just a evening of very emotional lowness. I was just like sad and feeling a little depressed and stuff, and you know, I didn't hide away from that. I didn't like, well, maybe I did hide away from it a little bit, but like, I didn't act like I wasn't. I just was the way I was. I let people know. I did my thing, and there were people that supported me. There were people that were there for me, and just like I said before, I'm never uplifted by myself. I'm always uplifted by those around me. So yeah, I'm always grateful for that, because there was a time in my life where I didn't really understand. I didn't really know how to be vulnerable to people like that emotionally. I wasn't, I guess, aware enough of how I was feeling to communicate that to others, and then kind of find support and find solace in others about it. Whereas now I feel like when I'm going through something difficult, there are people that I can feel vulnerable around. There are people that I know will support me, or even if it's the most basic fundamental thing of understanding me and being there for me. There's so many people who do that for me. You know, the likelihood is if you're watching this, you might be one of those people. And I guess this is me being vulnerable in one way. So just by watching this, you have, you know, just know that I appreciate you. Just know that there's a lot of people that I think about every day that I put on my gratitude list. Just know that, you know, when things are difficult, I often think to the people that bring me joy. I often think about the people that genuinely make me feel this kind of tenderness and warmth in my heart that I just feel lucky to have, because, you know, there's, as I said before, there's 7 billion people, 8 billion I think now on this planet, and there's a very small list of people that I would give everything for. I wouldn't describe myself as the most self-sacrificing person ever, but there are some people that I would give everything for, you know. So yeah, I guess just, if you take everything away from this video, just know that if things are good, be appreciative. Be thankful for the things that are good. If things are difficult, I guess hold on to the hope that things will get better, and take everything step by step. And if you're ever able to be vulnerable around people, take note of the people that you're able to be vulnerable around, and cherish them, because you know, those connections we have with people, they don't often last forever. So just be glad for them while they're there. Thank you very much. See ya.
Yeah, my steamers broke. For the oblique turn peak of the soul. Peace never know what's about to occur. My zen getting rolled at a turn of your words. Run at the meat and my steamers broke. For the oblique turn peak of the soul. Peace never know what's about to occur. My zen getting rolled at the turn of your words.
Witches in my head, wishing that we could waste what whisk up the eggplant, hide even side of dragon. Whole country can't rest.